Yes.
Okay. I want to welcome everyone to Keeping Things in Line. We have an interview today with a wonderful person, Sarah Cornforth. Did I pronounce that correctly, Sarah?
You did. Perfect. Yes.
Excellent. And she goes by the Productivity Princess. Sarah, could you tell us where you currently live so my viewers can know a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm based in the United Kingdom and I'm in the Northeast. So I'm not too far away from a city called Newcastle. So if anybody doesn't know the UK very well, saying Newcastle tends to be, that's where the Geordies come from. So Newcastle football team, that tends to be where somebody goes, ah, yes, now I know where you are. So it's the best landmark I can give. So I'm quite rural. It's really nice. It's a lovely part of the world, to be fair, although it's pouring down today. So, but I am in the UK. We cope with rain quite well.
Awesome. You know, that's the beauty of social media is you can connect to people from all over the world, and you get an opportunity to learn about some folks that are doing some wonderful things that may be thousands of miles away from you. So this is nice for us to be able to have a chance to chat, and people on this side of the West can get an opportunity to learn a little bit from you, which will be really nice. Especially, you know, the productivity and tech community I'm a part of. We love learning from productivity enthusiasts and business professionals. So this is going to be wonderful. Thank you so much for spending the time with me to do this.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for asking. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I have a few questions for you. We'll get right into it. My first question is, you know, what sort of clients do you typically deal with in your business?
Okay, so my client base has changed quite considerably since I started out in business, but where I am now as the Productivity Princess, and this probably helps with the name as well, is I tend to work mainly with female entrepreneurs. They tend to be creative and spiritual entrepreneurs, and they all work from home as well. So they're very much in the same situation as I am. They're based majorly online, but they might have a small part of an offline business. So they may do some coaching or some sessions, that kind of thing. There may be another sort of section to their business, but they're trying to make it online as well. And it's a really noisy place, and trying to do that and keep everything together is so hard to try and be productive at the same time. And a lot of them as well, when they're female entrepreneurs, you know, they're looking after the family, they've got the kids to pick up from school, they get interrupted 10 times a day, you know, the parents just pop around because you're in and they don't understand what working from home really means. So, you know, productivity and trying to encourage them to be more productive and give them the tools to be more productive is, it's just a passion, absolute passion of mine, because I know it's tough. It's really tough for those guys. And they're so talented. You know, it'd be a shame for productivity or a lack of it to be the reason why they don't do well in business.
Wonderful. So how did you get started with these clients? You know, what got you to that point?
So when I first started in business at all, I started as a virtual assistant. So I came from a project management background and I was made redundant. When I started business, I thought, well, I'll just use some of the skills that I know I've got. And it was basically just getting people organized, putting information together, doing some project management for clients. But they started off very corporate as well. So these were accountants and lawyers and people who didn't want to pay somebody full time. They just wanted a few hours work here and there. So that kind of built up. But it was really clear quite early on that what I was actually doing was getting people organized. The thing that I was really, really good at, the tech and stuff was something I could do. It wasn't their skill set, but making sure people hit deadlines, pointing out holes in systems where it's, you know, saying to them, look, if you do it this way, it's going to save you hours of time. And that's kind of where the niche developed. And as well, when I started to bring my own business online, I started connecting with other business owners, and I was in, you know, Facebook groups and communities. And jokingly, I was kind of nicknamed the Productivity Princess just because of my sort of hyper organizational skills. And, you know, I'd be straight in there if anybody had a question about how to get something done quicker or how to improve a system. And that then became my business name. And I wish I could remember who it was that started that conversation, because I should really thank them.
Definitely. That's an excellent name.
It's worked well, and it describes exactly what it is. And you know, you need to be really unique and a bit different online. And I wanted to stand out in the productivity world as well, because it can seem a little stuffy, it can seem quite corporate, it can certainly be geared towards teams rather than individuals sat at home really trying to make a living and trying to get stuff done in the very short amount of time that they have available. So that kind of image was what I wanted business owners to see, so that it was friendly, it was approachable, and it meant that you know, they could come and ask me for help, and we could really help support them that way.
Excellent, excellent. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but in your experience dealing with your clients in the productivity area, what do they struggle with the most? What do you find?
Yeah, there's a couple of things actually. First of all, is that deep down, they really believe that they can't be productive. You know, they actually think that they're a personality type that can't get it right. They will never be able to be organized. They don't know how to create a spreadsheet. Therefore, they can never organize their life. You know, they look around and things are a mess. So why would their business be any different? And so from the very, very beginning, they've kind of put a block in the way and decided, I can't be productive. I see people around me all day long being productive, and I'm not capable of doing that. So that's a really hard barrier and wall to climb over, first of all, isn't it? And I think because they feel like that, they then don't know where to start. I mean, how do you create a system in your business or a process in your business if you've never done it before? If your background didn't involve anything like that, then how could you possibly be expected to just create a system and just sort of process out or find a faster way of doing it if you don't have the information to do it in the first place? So kind of that belief that they're not good enough, that they're not productive, that they're a personality type that can never be that way, holds them back. And then not knowing where to start and what to do about it is the next thing, really. And I think both of those seem to come hand in hand together with most of the people that I deal with. I would say 90% of them. And a lot of them as well are more organized and more productive than they think they are. When I sort of start working with them, I notice that they get a lot done. But what they do is they tell themselves that they're still not good enough, that this isn't enough work, that they should be getting twice as much done, that somebody next to them is doing much more. But you've got no idea how long it took that person to get there. You know, it's all you're seeing is the shop window, aren't you? You don't actually see the panic that goes on sort of behind the scenes. You know, we all have those moments, don't we? And it's very much like the kind of duck that's sitting on a pond and it looks nice and calm on top, but its feet are going crazy underneath. And that is the state for most business owners. And you see the calm duck. You never ever see its feet. And that's what it's like. So when we compare ourselves to the person next door, it looks like they're churning out content all over the place, that they've got their life super organized, that they're able to take their kids to football practice and judo and all sorts of things. You don't really know what level of crazy is really going on behind there. And I guarantee there will be a level of crazy. It just looks different on the outset. So we judge and we're really mean to ourselves. And so productivity is a huge part of a mindset shift as well. You know, you've got to believe that you can be productive. You've got to believe that you're capable of being more productive than you are right now, tomorrow. And it's totally possible. And I've proved that so many times with people, and it lights me up to be able to do that. It's fabulous.
Excellent. Excellent. You know, I like what you said, because, you know, a big part of your job is helping people to appreciate what they're already doing.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. And you know, when we're in business, when we're sat at home working away with nobody coming up and giving you a pat on the back and saying you did really good today, you know, who else is going to do that if we don't acknowledge our successes, or, you know, just say, do you know, I got through 10 tasks today, that was brilliant, well done. And we need a system in place to make sure that we remember and we acknowledge what we did, rather than only looking at what we didn't do. And, you know, that's what I really, really try and promote within everything that I do within my business. So whether clients are part of my one-to-one sessions, whether they're in business support, or whether they're in my Zen Productivity Club, they all get the chance and the opportunity to tell me what they accomplished this week, and praise themselves for it, and just move things that didn't get done to the following week. It's never a big deal. It always works out.
excellent. Excellent. Wow. I was taking some time to look over your website recently, and I noticed from your clients, a lot of them mention how you've helped them to use Trello for their productivity. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, Trello's amazing, isn't it? I love this system. So I've got creative and spiritual entrepreneurs, as I've said, and if I gave them a system like, say, a spreadsheet that would, I can use spreadsheets all day long. That's kind of my background and I feel comfortable in there. If I gave them that to use, then they would probably have a meltdown. It's not the right solution. But what's great about Trello is in 15 minutes, I can show anybody the main features of Trello and they can get going with it with confidence, because it's logical, it's not a tricky system, and it's so visual as well. And I think when we're doing stuff in our businesses all day long, we're generating kind of content in our minds. Everything we look at is potential content, potential social media post. It could be a blog, it could be, you've got this kind of brain that's whizzing around trying to remember everything, and every time you get a thought, you're trying to put it somewhere in your brain. And our brains are wonderful, but they're crap at storage. Don't use them for a storage system at all. Right. Trello, on the other hand, is a brilliant place to kind of do a brain dump, to offload, to download into a system where you're now capturing all that stuff that's whizzing around in your brain. It's stressing you out, it's making you anxious, and it's stopping you from sleeping. And it's in Trello. You don't even have to deal with all of this tomorrow. I've got stuff in Trello that's been ideas that I came up with maybe a year ago, and every now and again I'll have a flick through and I'll just think, that would work right now in my business, just because it didn't work back, it wasn't right back then. So for an information capture system, it is amazing. And what it does is it helps, especially the creative business owners who don't really know where to put this information. It helps them have one place where they can go and they can find anything. You can plan stuff in Trello. You can use it as a task management system if you wanted to, although I don't think that's its forte, to be fair. I think information capture is definitely the thing. And it's the visual side of it. Once you get them popping images into the cards so that each card actually shows an image instead, especially for the guys that are using a lot of color and things like that. This is brilliant because it works really, really well for the way their brain works, and they enjoy being in it. I get so many people who have moved over to Trello, and then after a couple of weeks later they just go, I don't know how I ever lived without Trello. They don't just then use it for the business, they're organizing their life, they're setting up Trello boards for the kids and the family and all sorts of things. So it's so versatile, isn't it? Which is, I think that's the best thing about it. You can turn Trello into anything you want without it then being too complicated, because some systems just give you too many options. I think the limitations with Trello are actually its key feature.
Definitely. I agree with that. And, another thing I appreciate about Trello is, it's fun. The different options and the ways that you can put cards on different boards, it makes the productivity spectrum and dealing with a project fun, and you can see it right in front of you and kind of work from there. I really appreciate that myself.
Definitely. I mean, I use Trello to plan out things on the high level. So, when you're first trying to kind of scope something out, and I'm really just wanting to see, like, say if it's a new program and I want to see what's going to be module 1, what's going to be module 2, module 3, and I want to shift things around, see how they look together. To plan anything on a high level, because you can move these cards, I'm not rewriting things. It's all just kind of shuffling things around. It's so much better than the post-it note exercise, which I've done before. When you put them all up on your wall, you go and have a cup of tea, you come back and they've all fallen on the floor. That's really depressing, isn't it? So at least Trello doesn't throw all your cards on the floor, so you've still got them where you need to be. So for planning and for kind of getting a nice visual, so you can step back and just go, yeah, that's what that's going to look like. And then from there, you can take it and run with it and turn it into whatever you need to do after that. And it works brilliantly.
Definitely. I agree with that. Are there any other productivity applications that you use?
Oh, I use quite a few actually. So I've got something that I always recommend and try and get just about every client that I've got onto, and that's using Toggle, because I think that tracking your time is one of the most important things that you can do in your business. And it's not so that you can say, oh God, I only worked 2 hours today, when you've actually been sat in the office for 6 hours. But that's kind of the point. It's to make sure that the time that you're there is actually time that you're using well. So there's no point spending 10 hours sat in your office when you only get 4 hours of actual work done, because you're still going to feel fatigued and exhausted, but you're not getting anything of substance achieved. So when you track just the tasks that you accomplish, that you do from start to finish, you can see exactly where your time's going. And for some of the guys in my Zen productivity group, when we started doing this, what they've noticed is that some of their actions during the day was very chaotic. So they would flip between different tasks. And, once they had it all noted down and they realized there's like kind of lots of 5-minute, 10-minute slots in Trello, all of different colors, because they've kind of color coded them, and they realized just how kind of crazy that day looks. And that was like a big eye opener, because it was the point where they realize, wow, that's what's wrong with my day. It's not because I'm not capable of being productive, it's just because I'm not using my time well. And once you get those revelations and you start putting solutions in place to sort that out, that's where the magic starts to happen. And it's amazing how much time you can claw back, because if you're actually, it could be taking you all day to do 3 hours of work just because of the crazy way that you work. Once you refine that and start doing it in a more focused manner, you've then freed up loads of hours that you can then be working on getting more clients, growing your business, developing yourself, whatever it is, taking more time out, spending it with your family and friends, which is what you probably went into business with in the first place, so you could be more flexible. And all of those things start to happen, and unless you know where your time is going, there's nothing you can do to change that. You need to know what's happening. So toggle is my absolute number one. And then you do need, like I said with Trello, I use that as an information capture rather than a task management system. And I've been on Asana for years, used that ever since I started business. But there was a couple of problems with Asana for me, and they've booked me so much so that recently I've actually changed my system. So Asana doesn't give me the opportunity to allocate how much time a task should take me. So I want to be able to say, right, I'm going to write a blog and I'm going to spend 45 minutes on it. Because if I just say I need to write a blog today, I could spend all day on that. That's not a productive use of my time. So, I was trying to do workarounds in Asana and it just didn't quite work for me. And it's a very, very robust project management system. Great if you're in a team. But for me, when I need to manage time between clients and the different parts of my own business, I needed something different. So I've actually moved to a recommendation from Michael Hyatt, which is Nozbe. And I'm really enjoying it because you only get to see your daily tasks. You can scroll through and see all the other stuff if you want to, but I think daily tasks is a really important thing to be the only thing you focus on in a day. And it tells me every time I log in, it says, right, today you've got 6 hours and 20 minutes of tasks scheduled. So that lets me know how much day I've got, whether I can add something else to that. Maybe I can finish early. If it's sunny, maybe I need to shift something around because I'm only going to work a half day today, whatever it is. But I can make some really good productivity decisions right at the start of my day because of that app. So I'm still in the first month of the trial phase, but once I get to the end of that and I've used it for a month, I'll be doing a full report on it. But so far, so good. I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. Excellent. I appreciate you mentioning Nozbe because there's a project I'm a part of, and the team is using Nozbe, kind of on a trial business version. And I like what you mentioned about that because right now I'm using an application called Todoist. But it does not have that particular functionality where you can see, how much time it's going to take to complete all the tasks you have for that day. So that's something I think I might dive into a little bit. So that's information.
Definitely, I'd really recommend it. It's a really nice system. I've used Todoist myself, and the thing with that one is it didn't let me drill down far enough for each task and subtasks and things. I need things to help me follow my processes. I don't want my processes to be elsewhere. And Nozbe's got this great facility where you can create a template. So I can create a template that is, say, my blogging process, but then I can create a task that is to process my blog on a Tuesday. And what I do is then when it comes up on my Tuesday tasks, I would then go into my blogging template and follow that all the way through. So that's my full process. So that means I don't have to think about it. It's there. I'm not having to scramble and find the flow chart that I did for it. And that was something that I liked in Asana. So I'm quite glad I'm able to replicate that in Nozbe with the templates functionality. So yeah, it's got some really, really good systems in place there. It's definitely worth a look.
Gotcha. That's wonderful. You know, one of the things I speak to people about when it comes to productivity is, you know, finding what works for you. So I appreciate that you tried Asana, you tested it out, and it didn't fit your workflow properly. So you were able to transition into something else that actually fits you better and enabled you to do what you needed to do. So that's wonderful. That's, you know, that's what we're trying to get people to do. Sometimes people stay so stuck on one method or application, and they don't pursue possibilities around that could actually help them to increase their productivity.
Well, we get a bit stuck as well, don't we? If we've invested some time into getting a system in place, you know, especially when it's, you know, plugging all your information into your current task management system. And if you've been using it well, you'll have every task you've ever thought of in your life in that system. The idea and the thought and the time that you then have to invest to move somewhere else is really daunting if you've been through it once, and if productivity isn't your obsession. See, personally, I quite like changing systems because I like to really get sort of geeky about it and, you know, really compare things. But there again, that's my job. That's where I do, you know, I've chosen to do that because it's my passion. But no, not everybody's going to feel that way, and probably most people aren't going to feel that way. But, you know, it's very difficult to kind of sometimes understand that if you want to be more productive, if you want to save time, you will have to invest some time in the beginning to save you time in the future. And when you're already time poor, overwhelmed, stressed out, anxious, pulling your hair out, that doesn't seem really possible at all, does it? And it's really hard to find that time to be able to make those changes. So we continue the way that we always have done, with a system that's flawed, with a system that doesn't work well for us, just because the investment of time is too much to commit to, but it is worth it. And trying to get through the headspace with my clients to get them to change a system, that takes a little bit of work, but once we get there, it was always the right decision. They're always really thankful for it.
Definitely. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. So if say you would like to get more you offer, now I know you mentioned the Zen Productivity Club. Are there, you know, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the Zen Productivity Club it's a monthly subscription club, and this is directed at, like I said, the ideal client that I have, which is the female entrepreneurs working from home, are working online, they're creative, they're spiritual, and they just need they need step-by-step instructions to put productivity principles in place. So what we do is every single month we deal with a different productivity problem, or the solution to a different productivity problem. So for the first month that this was released, so I started my club in June, so it's only been going for a month. And the guys in there are seeing amazing results. And the first thing I was doing with them was getting them to start using Toggle as a time tracking system. And that's been amazing, absolutely fantastic. Next month, so in July, we're starting to look at creating business systems and processes, and just knowing where to start to do that, so that you can create any business system and process just by going through a set of steps, you know, the same set of steps for every system. And that's going to work really, really well. But the kind of value of this isn't just the recorded content that where you get the step-by-step instructions, but we have a Facebook group. So we're all in there. We're talking about how to get past our productivity problems all the time. We have a live planning session. So we sit and we plan our most productive month ever. And then we do like a live Q&A as well. So there's loads of support, so nobody feels left behind. And we, you know, what I've tried to do is make this as concise as possible. So, you know, I really believe that the club, if you spend an hour a week going through the content and implementing the things that I discuss each month, then you will see massive, significant results. And that's what's been happening. So it's great. And it's the way that I can support people in a bigger group, you know, rather than just, you know, if somebody can't afford to come along to the one-to-one, or they don't really know what they want from that, or they maybe can't use up the time, they need something to be a bit more flexible, then Zen Productivity Club is absolutely perfect for them. So yeah, it works great, and I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. It sounds like a lot of fun. Definitely. So how could my viewers get in touch with you?
Well, the best place actually is I hang out on Facebook quite a lot. So I have my Productivity Princess Facebook page. So that's my primary platform. My website as well. So over at theproductivityprincess.co.uk, that kind of gives you every way to get in touch with me on there. And also there's free stuff to sign up to. And if anybody hasn't heard of Trello, then it's worth going along there, because I do have a little free mini program on there. So, and that gives you 10 ways to use Trello in your business and save time. So, and that's been really, really popular. So yeah, if anyone's sort of thinking, oh my God, I'd love to have a look at Trello now, then check that out, because that gives you all the instructions you need to be able to get started with it. But yeah, website and Facebook are definitely my primary places, but also I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter as well. So yeah, you can kind of find me all over the place, really.
Good. So just throwing this out there at you, give us one last gem that you would like to offer people to help them be more productive in their business life or their personal life.
So my top tip would be, and I think I kind of mentioned this with the way I was looking for a particular task management system, and it's to only work from a list of what you need to do in that day. Don't work from your master to-do list, because you will never get to the end of it and you're just going to remain completely depressed at all times. So set out what you need to do each day based on priorities as well. That's the most important thing. And when people struggle to set priorities, I always say, well, what's the consequence of if you didn't do that particular task? Is this going to look really, really bad for you? Have you let somebody down because it's a commitment? If not, if this is a deadline that you've set yourself because it's self-imposed and you're a bit hard on yourself, which is the state of most business owners, then, that's not a real priority. That's just a self-imposed deadline that you will never, ever meet those expectations for. So, being really realistic about your priorities, making sure that you only work from the tasks that you need to do in that day. And if you get anything extra done, then that's a bonus. And being realistic with your time as well. So don't schedule 10 hours of work into a 7-hour day, because you've failed before you've started. And that's where people believe then that productivity doesn't work. And it really does. It's just, you've got to work out how it works for you. It's super personal, isn't it? Productivity is such a personal thing. So what the business owner next door to you does to stay productive won't necessarily work for you. It's got to be the right system, the right tools, and the right way of working. And yeah, so that was more than one, but I could probably go on forever with recommendations.
Those are gems. Thank you so much. This was very nice. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. I know my viewers are really going to appreciate the points and the applications that you use, and some of the methods and systems that you offer to your clients, especially in the Zen Productivity Club. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out with us. We know you have a busy schedule, but that's one of the things I appreciate about you is your generosity and your enthusiasm, and it's contagious. And I know it's something that your clients really appreciate. And you make getting things done fun. And that's the key, because many people are like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But, I like your perspective on it. You make it fun, you're encouraging, and it helps. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words. It's been lovely to be here. Thank you so much for asking me.
All right. My viewers, I hope you appreciated this interview. There'll be more of that to come. And hopefully one day we'll have another opportunity to spend some time with Sarah Cornforth, the Productivity Princess.